Nobody wants plants growing into their lights. So how do you avoid having plants stretch? That's what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. But before we do, this video is brought to you by Real Growers Recharge. If you want bigger roots for better fruits, you got to check out Real Growers Recharge over at realgrowers.com. Come on, High C, let's get into it, man.
All right, so I'm excited about today's episode because this is a problem I deal with. I have a 2x2 foot grow tent and it's only 4 foot tall. And so my lights are only 4 feet off of the ground. So my plants grow into the lights almost every single grow.
Yeah. So first thing you need to do is understand that light is the energy. So those plants is very natural. Those plants are just reaching for more energy. Unfortunately, they grow into the lights. They get temperature burn. They get light bleached. It's not good for them. Even sunshine burns if you get too much.
Yeah, one of the other problems that I've noticed is when the lights are surrounded by plant, that means only the top layer of the plant is getting any light at all.
Yeah, it's a bummer because you're spending all that energy for that light, all that money for that light energy, and then it's just getting blocked. It's getting blocked by the top leaves. It's burning them and causing damage and not allowing the rest of the plant to absorb energy.
Okay, so help me out. What are some tips that I can do to stop stretching in my grow tent?
First of all, selecting the right strain is huge. I mean, there are so many different types of cannabis. We all know about the sativa and the indica. The wrap on those, the indica is short and squat, and the sativas are these big, giant, equatorial, bushy plants. So we would want to look for something that was short and squat, whether it's a indica dominant or just something. And with all the catalogs and information, you can find the right strain that'll work for your specific situation.
And you can usually know in advance, hey, this strain is known for growing big and tall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why you pick a good breeder. You work with a good breeder that's reliable.
Okay. What about the nutrients? You told me that nutrients affect a plant's growth as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason they do a grow and then a bloom formula, or that there's grow with a lot of nitrogen in it. When you want the plant to grow big and tall, when you want it to grow foliage, you give it nitrogen, the green for green growth. Mm-hmm. But too much nitrogen is going to grow a tall plant. It's for vegetative growth, so it's going to grow a tall plant with a lot of foliage on it. So that is not necessarily what we want.
Okay, so that's partially why we cut out some of the nitrogen in bloom.
Sure.
Okay, I've seen you do this trick where you bend your stems or your branches a little bit, and you said that helps with. Can you explain that?
Yeah, training is super important. Whether you have a plant that's growing straight up into the light, you can either slowly bend it down or just bend it down so it makes a bit of a bow, but you're going to get a whole bunch of tops instead of that one top. Mm-hmm. You can do stuff where it's high. That's called low stress training. You can do high stress training where you actually pinch the branch and you bend it over sideways. And usually what will happen is you'll get a bunch of little Christmas tree tops that'll show up there, and you get light penetrating the entire canopy. That's the big deal.
Okay, we've talked about light. What about temperature? What role does temperature play?
Yeah, this was one that I learned later on in my grow career, and very interesting. There's something called temperature differential. You've got daytime temperatures and nighttime temperatures. Mm-hmm. So when a plant is hot, just like we're hot, we want to cool ourselves off. The plant transpires. It sucks water up from the roots and out the stomata, out the leaves. So when the plant is hot, it wants to get as much surface area as possible. It wants to expand. It wants to allow as much air around those leaves as possible to be able to transpire the water out, and cool itself down.
Okay, so like in an outdoor situation, it's hot. When the sun comes out,
sure,
the plant starts stretching. When the lights go on, the plant starts stretching as well in the grow tent or the grow room?
Now, outdoors, the daytime temperatures are almost always higher than the nighttime temperatures. What that does, that temperature differential actually triggers the stretch in the plant. So when you think about it, outside, it's cool at night, and when the sun comes up the next day, there's a big shift in the temperature. That shift in the temperature will cause a plant to stretch. So what we want to do indoors is keep our daytime and nighttime differential, our daytime and nighttime temperatures close together, or a lot closer together. I think within 5 degrees is what they recommend. And a cool little hack on this is that you don't have to do it the entire time. If you have the ability to control your differential only for about the first hour or two, it will trick the plant into not stretching.
So when the lights come on, the tent usually, or the grow room,
Yeah.
it has that same thing that the sun does. It makes the room get hotter. And you're saying for the first couple of hours when the light comes on, if you can use air conditioning or ventilation to keep it cooler,
Yep.
that tricks the plant into stopping its natural stretch tendency.
Exactly, sir. Exactly. I'm glad I brought you along.
All right, cool.
Those are some of my best tips of how I stop the stretch in my grow. But what about you? Come on, give me some of your grow hacks. I want to know. And if you like this video, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and check out the other couple videos that YouTube is recommending over here.